Hi there. In the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel review of Milwaukee Police Department response times, they discovered police response lagged in 13 of 15 major call categories. Only responses to shootings and deaths from vehicles were faster. The average emergency response on a normal day takes several minutes to respond to life-threatening events. Imagine a response would take when a large-scale event or a disaster occurs, and now you're faced with fending for yourself and your family. This is why having the right mindset and supplies on hand is important. Today I will show you reasons why you need at least have a plan in place and why it's smart to have some supplies on standby in case of an emergency. As Arthur T. Bradley states in his book, prepare for what makes sense. Before making any plans, research what kind of disasters happen in your area, such as a blizzard, you live in the upper Midwest, or if you stay in California and you have earthquakes you have to worry about. In a Washington Post study, only 13% of respondents have developed emergency plans. That's despite that, in fact, about 80% of all Americans live in an area that's been hit by a weather-related disaster. When devising a plan for a potential natural disaster, a lot comes down to common sense needs. The necessities you should focus on should be water, food, shelter, light, heating and cooling, sleep, and sanitation. If you can cover those necessities, you can pretty much last any type of disaster and stand a better chance than a lot of other people would if they weren't prepared. Food and water can be handled pretty easily by just having a decent stockpile, having canned food off the side, a bunch of bottles of water, cases of water. You need at least about a gallon of water a day per person. So if you have a large family, that have to take into consideration. Shelter is also kind of pretty easy. Unless something happens to your home, they have to move, you have to evacuate. Make sure you have a steady supply so you can take with you. You have to leave in a relatively fast manner. When the power goes out, when a lot of disasters occur, it can become very dark at night. So make sure you at least have a couple of lights on hand, some batteries, some rechargeable ones, so you can see at night. Because if you can't see, you risk tripping over and injuring yourself. Also have a way to keep warm and cool, depending on where you live. If you're disaster type areas, blizzard, you got to make sure you have lots of blankets and some way to kind of provide heat. As say a wood burning stove or something. Also have some type of method of sanitation. If you want to get injured or getting cuts on yourself, you want to somehow manage to clean that. If you want to get an infection and you want to get sick, it's going to be even harder to survive or last out longer if you're feeling ill. You're not going to be able to take care of yourself or take care of others well. When you're creating a plan, try to involve your family and friends, because the more resources, the more people you have with you, it's better for everybody. You want to have people out there you can reach out, you can rely on if you're stuck in a jam. Say your house broke down, you have a friend or a neighbor you can respond to with them, and they'll be able to help you out. Also, make sure you have escape routes and meeting plans ahead of time, so you can meet up with your friends and family if the worst were to happen. Also, make sure you take special classes like CPR and first aid, because that only benefits yourself, it benefits anyone else that you're with as well, because you want to make sure you can take care of yourself if a disaster occurs. With a good plan in place, make sure you have a bag or a supply bag or a go bag with you, so you can, if you have to evacuate, you can grab and go. If a disaster strikes in your community, you might not have access to food and water or electricity for several days. You may think you have enough time to run to the grocery store, but grocery stores only have food on supply for about 3 days until they wait for the next delivery truck. If the roads are all down, there's no deliveries coming, the stores run out really quick. Even with a well-prepared go bag or buckle bag, prepare to make do with what you have. You gotta improvise. You're running low on water, check your water heater. You can drain water from there, boil it to make it clean. You can drink that if you're running low on water. Always gotta think outside the box when it comes to stuff. As Arthur T. Bradley says, you'll likely be better served if you start thinking like MacGyver, learning to make the most of what you have on hand. The whole point of me talking about preparation for disaster is in hopes that I can encourage you and encourage more people to start relying on their own abilities and become more aware of their surroundings. We as a society, especially Americans, have become too accustomed to our modern age, instant satisfaction style world. We take for granted that when we flip a switch, the power turns on, or when we go to the grocery store, the shelves are fully stocked. A recent Federal Emergency Management Agency survey found that, or FEMA, found that 60% of Americans and adults have not practiced what to do in a disaster. We live in a very complex world, and we have seen many disasters demonstrate that our world can be turned upside down at a moment's notice, be it a hurricane, industrial accidents, or even civil unrest. In the grand scheme of things, the idea behind being prepared is being responsible and having the ability to care for yourself no matter what the situation is. Thank you.